Hey Adam, good
Hi.
to see you again.
Nice to see you.
How have you been?
Doing all right, not
Yeah?
too bad. Yeah.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad that you're back to kind of go through the things that we went through last time, the exams and the x-rays. So at any point during this exam or this review, you feel uncomfortable, go ahead and let me know and we can go ahead and stop this exam right away. So I'm going to kind of go through everything that we've gone through last week, but before we do that, do you have any questions for me?
No, not yet.
Okay, cool, awesome. So I see that you were in here because of a car accident that you had about a month ago, correct?
Yeah.
So you said that you were getting some neck pain. It was kind of traveling down towards your left arm and kind of coming towards your thumb, correct? Yeah. Okay. And you said that you've been to PTs, through acupunctures, through massage therapists, and it kind of relieves it a little bit, but it kind of comes back,
Always
right?
comes back. Exactly.
Okay. Can you also kind of elaborate on what else you're feeling?
Basically that. I mean, it's like anytime I feel like at work, especially, like I'll be, just turning my head something, and then I move in the wrong way. I just feel like this shot come right down my arm, all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
And the physical therapy helped a little bit, but it didn't, like, it still comes. And the acupuncture, same thing basically. But yeah, it keeps coming back. So I was told to come see you, and here I am.
Yeah, Michael was the one that referred you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great patient of mine. He actually was also, yeah, so, yeah, let's go through some of the exams that I found during while you're here initially.
Yeah.
So let's pull up your X-rays right here. So as you can see, these are your X-rays that we took about a week ago when you were first here.
Yeah.
So I want to show you a normal cervical spine, which is your neck, and this is what a normal spine should look like.
All
It has you see how it has a nice curve coming down
right.
towards the front, and these are your films right here. So you see that there isn't much of a forward curve,
Yeah.
but now it's kind of starting to come reversed, correct?
Yeah.
And you see some of these joints are kind of compressing a little bit, so you want to have a really nice disc space in between each of these vertebrae.
Okay.
So that kind of, and we see that right here around C6, C5, it's kind of compressing down a little bit.
Okay.
So that may be the cause of the radiating, tingling, feeling, pain coming down towards your thumb.
Okay.
So it's really important to keep those disc space well spaced out, especially going through life. It's nice to preserve it because when you get older, you don't want any more other complications like that.
Yeah, that makes
Right.
sense.
So also, we see that you kind of have a little bit of a anterior head carriage. So that's also something to look at. So having your head sit perfectly neutral on top of your body is really important too,
Okay.
because, for example, I'm going to hold this water bottle, so it's not too heavy when
Okay.
you hold it right here, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have you go ahead and hold it towards close to your chest,
Okay.
and I'm going to have you start moving it outwards like
Okay.
that. So I'm going to have you hold it right there. Is that more sustainable, or is it more sustainable to hold it close to your chest?
No, this is easier.
That's easier, right?
Yeah.
Especially if you're holding it for an
Yeah.
hour, a day, or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's easier on your body too if your head is more neutral on top of your body.
Okay.
So that's also something that we're going to look at. And so during this exam, we also see that it has been kind of bothering you in daily activities. I see that you also like to play basketball.
Yeah.
And you said that after the car accident, you tried playing basketball for a while, but it actually was really difficult on you
Yeah.
because turning your head, it kind of bothered you, and you're still getting that shooting pain.
Yeah.
So it kind of messed up your jump shots,
Exactly.
like you said. So that's also something that we're going to take a look at during your care here. So I want to see you. So right here for the care plan that I have right here for you, I would like to see you 3 times a week for 8 weeks.
Okay.
This is because this is such a new symptom because it just happened a month ago. So I want to make sure that we want to be on top of this and that it doesn't get any worse. Like your disc space, we want to preserve that.
Yeah.
So I really want to see that 3 times a week for 3 times a week for 8 weeks. And at the 8th week, we're gonna reassess. We're gonna maybe shoot new films and see how well you're adapting or
Okay.
how well you're how the treatment's going. So also I want to let you know that throughout this, maybe the first couple adjustments that we do, it might feel either better, the same, or worse. The reason why it would feel a little bit worse is because you haven't had much movement in your cervical spine before. Like you said, this is your first time in chiropractic care.
Yeah.
So any new movements of the joints will cause maybe some just new movements. So for example, you go to the gym regularly,
Yeah.
you go play basketball and all that. So your first time doing squats, the next day, what do you feel?
Sore.
Pretty
Super
sore, right? Yeah,
all
so
over.
it's exactly the same as so your joints, there's muscles there's surrounding it, so any movements like that, it may cause soreness. So that's kind of why you would feel a little bit worse, but the next couple of days you'll feel a lot better as you get more and more care, as your body's getting more adapted to this type of care. You'll feel a lot better. And at any point you feel anything that you wanted to address, just let me know. We're a total transparent practice here, so anything that you want to address, just let me know. And also, I have here some home care for you.
Alright.
So I want you to when you're usually texting your friends or on your phone, I want you to keep your iPhone at eye level. So iPhone eye level is a really good part to keep your cervical spine in place.
Cool.
So I don't want you to see you do this because it would cause a reverse curve of your spine to keep pushing back, and it will actually compress your disc space. So that's the opposite of what I want
So
you.
that's basically why I have that anterior head care, just because I'm like this all day.
Exactly, yeah.
That
So,
makes sense.
yeah, it's like, I'm sure you heard of the word text neck. So it's like our generation is always on the phone. So I want you to try to keep your head up and when you're using your phone.
Okay.
So that's one of the things that I want you to work on. Also for, you said that you're a computer engineering, so you're always sitting at a desk, right? Always slumped forward and looking at a computer.
Yeah.
So every time you're at work, I want you to, every 30 minutes on a computer, I want you to stand, stretch, look up, get out of your chair, walk around for at least 10 minutes, and then go back to work, because that prolonged state of on your computer, it would cause more pain and worsen your curve, and that's the opposite of what we want during this care.
Okay.
And also I see that on your first examinations that you're only drinking 1 cup of water a day, so I want to see improvement on that. So I want you to bump it up to 3 or 4 cups a day and slowly move your way up to 8 cups. So actually drinking more water rather than coffee, energy drinks, anything like that. It actually helps with lubricating the spine, so it actually keeps disc health inside. So it helps with preserving that disc space, like we talked about. And I see that also. So another thing that I see in your cervical spine is that there is a subluxation. So a subluxation, do you know what a subluxation is?
No.
So it's a pretty common term that some chiropractors use with their patients. So this is what we believe in our office is subluxation. So a subluxation is, so this is your spine and this is your vertebrae. So this is another view of your spine,
Okay.
but it's coming from behind. So a subluxation is when a vertebrae is misaligned.
Okay.
So vertebrae is one of these things that's on your spine that protects your spinal cord. So that's where your nerves are, and that's where the brain connects to the rest of your body.
Okay.
And if there is a misalignment of this vertebrae, what do you think will happen?
Well, then, if the spinal cord's in there, then it won't be able to. I'm not really sure, actually.
Yeah, so actually almost there. So the spine, the nervous system won't be able, the brain won't be able to communicate or be able to function at its optimal function with anything that it's connected to. Either it's your muscles, your organs, or whatever it's innervated or connected to. So it's really helpful and very important to keep that disc space and that those vertebrae at each vertebrae at a correct segment. So without movement. So that's also something that we're going to take a look at with this films. So that's something that I also see on your films at that C5, C6, that cervical 5th and 6th vertebrae. There's a little bit of misalignment, so that could be the cause also of that pain and tingling, numbness coming down to your arm. And anything else that I'll take a look at your reported findings. So, at this point, do you have any questions for me?
So, one thing I don't really get is like, I guess, no, actually, no, I don't really. I was just a little confused on like what you're gonna like do still. Like, I know you're gonna take care of it, but like, what do you plan on doing? Like, what do you, like, how is it gonna be done, if I might ask?
Yeah, that's a good question. Something that we at this clinic that we do, that I do, is I do specific adjustments.
Okay.
So I do upper cervical care. So upper cervical is right where your atlas is, your first vertebrae. So that is a very important vertebrae because that's pretty much the gateway to from your brain and to your spinal cord and for everything else. So that's a very important vertebrae. So if there's any misalignment of that vertebrae, that could cause like really tremendous damage or disability to your ability to communicate from your brain to your body. So I'm going to take a look at that first, that vertebrae. So I do a specific technique, so that would only affect that vertebrae. So we're going to take a look at that, and I do a specific adjustment. So I do a technique called toggle. So I'm going to put a manual force or a quick force, but not a it's a fast but not a lot of pressure force into that vertebrae to cause any a effect onto your rest of your body. And if that vertebrae is sitting well, I will take a look at the rest of your spine. So I will do manual adjustments on you, so it's very specific. So I will take a look at your cervical spine, obviously, because that's where your pain is, but also at the rest of your body. So I'm going to make sure that everything is functioning well, not just the pain, but also internal function as well.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
No, not for me.
Good? Okay. So I would like to see you again. So we're gonna go ahead and get your first adjustment in. Okay? Awesome.
Sounds
Cool.
good.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Adam. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
coming in.
Yeah.